Hello and welcome to episode 143 of Controller Club, the friendly face gaming space, a podcast where three friends from three continents share in one love, and that is video games. On today's show, we will dive into the gaming headlines from the week. Pokemon Day has come and gone. Monolith is no more, and Fable has been delayed to 2026. But before all that, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Kleinfeld, and alongside me today are two of my best friends in the whole wide gaming world, coming from the same couch on the same continent for a change, which is a little bizarre. First, coming to us from across the pond, it is the digital art daredevil himself, recovering Pokemon card addict, Tom Drew. Tom, how are you? How are things? And I mean, as the listeners can, or watchers on YouTube, the listeners can't see anything. The viewers on YouTube can see you have a guest beside you.
Yes, I do indeed. Yeah, I'm pretty good because Lauren is with me this week, and we've been we've been up to a lot of fun stuff. A lot of you know visiting London things. That's not very specific, is it? But no, we've been to the theatre. We've been to castles. Done all sorts really. So it's been a lovely week so far. But yeah.
Next up, sitting next to Tom Drew, it is the journalist extraordinaire, the Australian really abroad today / the Canadian in training, Lauren Rouse. Lauren, did you check in with your otters before you left? Just letting them know that, mom's going to be out of the house for a little while. Everybody just like, don't mess anything up. Like, I'll be back in a week or so.
I wish I could say that I did, but I've like had longer absences from them than this. I was gonna say I'm excited that I get to be coming from across the pond this time as well. It's not just you. So yeah, this is crazy. This is like so weird for us to be sitting next to each other podcasting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been checking in on them on the live stream when the time zones align. They're doing fine.
Maybe better without you even.
Whoa.
Yeah, come on. That's harsh words. What the hell?
That's a bit harsh.
Come on.
Do you not want me to come back?
No, come back, please. You have gifts for me. Yeah, Tom and Lauren are in London together right now, hanging out, having a whole lot of fun. But that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about video games. We've got a packed show today. So let's get into it. It is going to be all news the whole time. So let's jump in. Tom Drew and Lauren Rouse, I guess. Do you want to give us the news we choose jingle?
Oh, I have the plague, so I won't be singing.
Okay, well, I can fill in. It's the news we choose. Yeah.
We jump right to the person who just said they have the plague, Lauren Rouse, the biggest news story of the week. Take it away. We are a few studios shorter, aren't we?
Sadly, we are, because Warner Brothers Games has made another cut. Warner Brothers Discovery has confirmed plans to shut 3 of its gaming development studios. The decision means the anticipated Wonder Woman game, which has been in production for 3 years at one of the affected studios, Monolith, will not be released. Player First Games, which made Multiverses, and Warner Brothers Games San Diego will also be shuttered. The announcement comes after a difficult time in the industry, with widespread job losses since a boom during the COVID pandemic. A spokesperson from Warner Brothers told BBC Newsbeat the difficult decision was aimed at boosting profitability. On Wonder Woman, they said, quote, "Our hope was to give players and fans the highest quality experience possible for the iconic character, and unfortunately, this is no longer possible within our strategic priorities," end quote. Last month, Multiverses said there would be no more updates for the games, which would have to be played offline, quote, for the foreseeable future. Warner Brothers said it will instead focus on developing its core franchises, including Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, DC, and Game of Thrones. Quote, "As difficult as today is, we remain focused on and excited about getting back to producing high-quality games for our passionate fans and developed by our world-class studios and getting our games business back in profitability and growth in 2025 and beyond," the spokesperson said. So this is crazy considering we kind of went over the whole Schreier Bloomberg article a few weeks ago about what was going on at Warner Brothers Games. We talked about whether we thought what the future of these studios were, what they might be working on, whether we thought they were going to close. And now we have seen that some of them are, unfortunately, closing. So it's pretty grim. But yeah, Klein, how did you react to this news?
I think it was pretty shocking, especially considering that report you just mentioned from Jason Schreier. This story was also first broken by Schreier, and then it kind of got confirmed by Warner Brothers a little shortly after. But the fact that just a few weeks ago we got news that, like, hey, this Wonder Woman game has kind of been rebooted. They're moving away maybe from the Nemesis system in that game. And that, I guess, it happened like last year. And then to see this, where it's just like it's gone, it's crazy. We've gotten a bit of follow up in the last couple of days where there's been some reports coming out that just across the board, across Warner Brother games, just like entire slate, they've seen a bit of a dip, especially coming off of the high they had in 2023 with Hogwarts Legacy. And that a game like Suicide Squad not doing super well plays into these studios getting closed here, just because of the financial I don't know, availability of finances that they have to spend on things. It seems absolutely crazy that I think Monolith specifically is gone. I've seen going around, they've been 30 years, and they've done a bit of everything. The first game they did with Warner Brothers was The Matrix Online, a failed but acclaimed MMO from the early 2000s, and it just, I don't know, it sucks. I feel like that's where we all ultimately always come back to with these sort of stories. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that this is it for Warner Brothers? Or are there going to be any more cuts? Like, what are your general thoughts on this, Tom? I know you are coming at it from a bit of a different angle, specifically, Tom, because you like have a history with this with multiverses, and you are
Yeah.
kind of a fan of that. So, like, what do you think about them being included in this?
Yeah, I was gonna say like I played Multiverses when the original beta came out and really enjoyed it. And like played it a bit when the full release came out. And look, I mean, I don't think Player First games necessarily made all the right decisions in terms of the game. Like I think I wasn't completely happy with it. Like, but I don't think that was enough to justify it like completely shuttering down. Like I think it's crazy as well because I think they just released their latest season, and by all accounts, they fixed like all the issues that a lot of people had with the game throughout its lifespan.
It is
And
worth noting that they were purchased by Warner Brothers less than 7 months ago.
yeah, and it seems like that decision might have been because they originally had a deal with them. With buying them allowed them to make this decision possible of being able to shut them down for I guess just look better for shareholders, which sucks, but Um, yeah, it sucks with this sort of thing because I really saw the potential with multiverses. I just think it took a little bit longer to get there. But it's just a shame that all the effort really did go to that last season, and it doesn't even seem like they're getting like any reconsideration, any like chance to reconsider because yeah, like the studio is not going to exist anymore. So yeah, it is just sad, like especially because we don't really have like a platform fighter on this kind of on the level of like a Smash Brothers, and I felt like this was kind of one of the answers to that. And handled a different way, I feel like they could have really reached those heights, but now we won't even get the opportunity to do that, which is a shame. Like it's a shame that all of that hard work has just been flushed down the toilet, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Lauren, do you think that this leaning into the IP, as you said, the was it Game of Thrones, DC, Mortal Kombat, Harry Potter? Do you think that what do you think that actually means? Like, because I mean, Wonder Woman was a DC property, but they obviously, I think when they say DC, they might mean Batman, and that might be kind of it. But I want to know, what do you think?
Well, it's interesting, right? Because even in the last few weeks since we were talking about that Schreier report, we talked about Rocksteady and like what's going to happen to them after Suicide Squad. Like, I mean, luckily they weren't part of this round of closures. But since then, there have been these rumors, like none of them confirmed, but just rumors percolating that they are making a Batman game that is going to be Batman Beyond, is the prominent rumor, which is what we all wanted. And I wonder if that's maybe saved them, because that is something that like the people are calling for. And if they go back to their roots and create another sort of Batman game in the style that they're known for, maybe that's like sort of, I guess, like keeping them pushing forward. It's just ironic that they're saying, oh, we can't, after the closures, the statement was like, oh, we can't wait to go back and we can't wait to we're excited about getting back to producing high quality games for our passionate fans. And I'm like, were you not doing that already? Like, why did people have to lose all their jobs for that to happen? Like, those studios were trying their best. And even like we talked about with the Nemesis system, it seems like they were trying to force that peg into the wrong sized hole with Wonder Woman. And so then it's just like, all right, we'll just cut them together and cut them all together. And I've seen a lot of people saying how now like the Nemesis system itself is going to just be like
Gone.
stuck behind. Yeah, like no one can use it. It won't be used in any games. So it's just all kind of tragic. But yeah, I can see them moving forward. Obviously, we'll get a Hogwarts Legacy 2. But beyond that, I don't really know what other kinds of games we're going to get out of these worlds. I mean, there are some mobile games with Game of Thrones, I think, are in the works. I don't know what other big like IP
There
we
was
have
that
coming out from
Game
them.
of Thrones game, I think it was at the Game Awards that they showed off that looked like, oh, this is going to be like a Game of Thrones console RPG, but it,
I
at
think it was a
least from
mobile
the look,
game, wasn't it?
I don't think so. I think it looked like a mobile game was what I was going to get at. Like it didn't look great.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of ironic. Then it's like, yeah, we're getting back to high quality games, and then it's like that's the kind of stuff that they're
Yeah.
pushing for.
In the last decade, when were those constant high quality games even coming out? Right?
Yeah.
Think about the
Just
last decade of Warner Brothers games. It's kind of been Arkham Knight, Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, and then okay, Injustice 2 was probably the last big major hit up until Hogwarts Legacy. Everything else has kind of just been here, there, and everywhere. The last Mortal Kombat game didn't sell as well as they wanted it to. It was kind of critically didn't hit the highs the franchise has in the past. And so I think they are kind of sitting there going like, oh, but don't worry, we have Mortal Kombat, we have DC, we have Game of Thrones, but who's to say that what ultimately comes out without the like with the meddling or without the meddling of Warner Brothers, like who's to say that those games are going to be good? Like would a Hogwarts Legacy 2 reach the same heights as the first one? Because there was so much pent up demand from like leading into that game. People wanted that dream open world Harry Potter RPG, and they got it. Who's to say that that game comes out and they reach those sales targets again? Or I know there's quotes of them talking about Hogwarts Legacy and saying that they really liked how it did and it did very well for them, but they think that maybe it could lean more into like the games as a service side of things moving forward. And it's like, okay, now we're going to come back to the issue that everyone just had with the Suicide Squad game. And so I'm kind of sitting here going, just quit meddling, Warner Brothers, and like let these people make their games.
Yeah, I really want like hopefully someone will do like get some quotes from people at Monolith and the true story will come out, because I'd really love to know whether doing Wonder Woman is really what they wanted to do. Did they really just want to do another Mordor game or another Lord of the Rings game? Do they still own the rights to Lord of the Rings, or has that changed hands
No,
since?
because it's now a Amazon owned thing, and like
Right.
even the
yeah.
new movies with through Warner Brothers are being licensed
Mhm.
out like through
Yeah.
I forget what it's called. It's something silly like Middle Earth and Friends or something like that.
Okay.
The like the
Right.
actual production thing that they have set up. But I do wonder as well, Lauren, about like what was Wonder Woman the thing they wanted to do. Rumor is Schreier had another report, and he's been making the rounds after this came out. That they spent 4 years after the last Lord of the Rings game making something else, and it didn't
Mm,
pan out. And then they did Wonder Woman, and the word is that they signed on to do Wonder Woman in I think it was like May or June, and then in December of that year, so I guess it'd be 2021, May or June 2021, and then December of that year is when we saw the trailer for that game. And it's like maybe we should also rethink about like revealing these games before they're perhaps ready to see the light of
mm,
day, because there's no way any significant work could have been done on it between June and December. Like if anything, that trailer was like a recruiting call being like, hey
mm.
guys, come, we're making a Wonder Woman game, come
Yeah.
work with us.
Yeah, it's interesting, like with Wonder Woman, because the only kind of sense that I've gotten about the game is Gail Simone, who's like a big comic creator. She wrote like runs on Wonder Woman. She like came out and said she was basically like, a creative consultant on the game. I can't find the specific tweets right now, and she didn't go to like too much of the particulars, but by all accounts, she said like the team was very passionate about the game, and like the team was one of the like the best that she's worked with, and obviously because of the pedigree they had with the Mortal games. So yeah, I mean, that's just one kind of like take in terms of like what was going on behind the scenes. But it just does make me a little sad because it seemed from all accounts, obviously, like, yeah, Monolith was a very talented studio, and like the glimpses we did see of Wonder Woman, um, after like not hearing about it for a while, like the concept art and all that sort of stuff seemed promising. So I'm just kind of, it's just a shame they didn't come together because, like you were saying, Klein, like Warner Brothers like came out after Hogwarts Legacy being like, oh, we need to leave into games as a service, but then they just axed like multiverses, which is a games as a service. So like, what is their actual MO here? Like, I don't really understand the strategy 100%.
Yeah, and Hogwarts Legacy was successful as a narrative-driven open-world game, not as a games as a live service gameplay.
But they only made one. They only made $1 amount from the people who played it, and I think that's the right. It's like, oh wait, all millions of players dove into this game and gave us their hard-earned cash for it. But what if they could keep doing that over and over and over again?
But that was the strategy with Suicide Squad, and look what it got them.
I
So
know.
I just don't know whether they're going to learn this time. But again, people's livelihoods have paid for it.
Yes.
I know. And the hard thing with this, specifically with Monolith, I mean, anyone, all three studios, our hearts go out to the developers and everyone losing their jobs. But like specifically with Monolith, now you have to go into this job market where there isn't a ton of work right now because things are getting cut and cut and cut. And what do you have to show for your last 10 years of working at Monolith? You're going to be NDA'd out the wazoo. You can't show anything from your Wonder Woman game. You can't show anything that you worked on from this supposed project they were working on before that. It's a decade of your career that you have nothing portfolio wise that you can use to get another job. It's like it's so stupid and so silly, and yet the management still at the top like sits pretty. I know Monolith, just like Rocksteady in the last probably year and a half, Monolith had a lot of their like lead team leave. A lot of the people who'd been at the studio for a long time, and the Monolith people went and set up Cliffhanger Games for EA, and they're working on a Black Panther game right now. So we will maybe see that some of that DNA like come across in that, but it's just, I think that this is total mismanaging. I know people have been calling out David Zaslav as the name to like get angry at, and I'm sure has a part of it, but like a lot of these decisions date back to before he was even there. I think that it's like the leadership specifically at Warner Brothers Games needs to be very seriously looked at.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it is just like missed potential, like across the board. Like I feel like the IP is just sitting there and not getting utilized in the right way. And like, you know, what is the point? At this point, it is better to just like, you know, a lot of this is in house. Like maybe it is better to just give these IPs to other studios and let them, you know, try something with it, because I don't know, the in-house stuff, something's got to change drastically, otherwise, yeah, it's just going to keep going down this path, I feel like.
I think it keeps coming back to those rumors that Warner Brothers in the last few years has maybe wanted to get out of the games business entirely and sell these teams off. And I know Schreier was saying earlier this week that they were trying and had conversations with Xbox and a few different people. And the idea was going to be, we'll sell you the studios, but you can't have any of the IP. And so for a lot of these studios, they for the most part are proven entities only with the IP in hand. And so it's like, you can have Rocksteady, but you're going to have to license the Batman license from us. And as Xbox is like, no, I'd rather go and spend the money on a Bethesda or on an Activision, where like we have it all. We don't need to worry about having to like license it for some exorbitant fee just so we can get our Batman game. It's a shame. It sucks. I hate that these stories are here. I hate that in 2025 or 2024, it was all, got to make it to 2025. We're going to do it. We're going to make it there. And now it just seems like 2025 is just as bad. And I think that maybe not a full on crash is coming, but I have heard some analysts say that the way we look at the industry will like forever change in the next couple of years, just because this bubble seems to be continuing to pop. Okay, let's move on to the next story. Tom, do we want to go to you with Pokemon Day?
Yeah, let's lighten things up a little bit. Yeah, so February 27th brought another Pokemon Day, and that means we got another Pokemon Presents showcase. The celebrations, of course, brought the usual. Numerous updates regarding Pokemon Go, Sleep, Unite, and more were on full display. Luckily, though, we did get a few announcements for new games in the franchise. First up was Pokemon Champions, a multiplayer game that allows trainers to challenge each other online in the more traditional style of battling. The game seems to be essentially the Pokemon Company's answer to the fan made website Pokemon Showdown, allowing players to fight against one another with all manner of gimmicks and types of Pokemon. The big reveal, though, came in the form of a full look at Pokemon Legends ZA, which propels trainers into the future and acts as a pseudo sequel to Pokemon X and Y. Taking place in Lumio City, players can traverse wild areas to catch Mons in a manner very similar to Pokemon Legends Arceus, as well as parkour across rooftops a la Assassin's Creed. A new change also comes in the battles, which gives the players more agency over their Pokemon by allowing them to dodge incoming attacks and position themselves to optimize the effectiveness of certain moves. Mega Evolution is also back with confirmation of many fan favorites, including Mega Charizard X, Mega Gardevoir, and Mega Ampharos. This all culminated with the confirmation that the game launches in late 2025, so we won't have to wait till next year, luckily. So yeah, we assume we all watched the Pokemon Presents. I mean, Lauren and I did in Borough Market of all places.
Eating the best sandwich ever.
Yeah, so that was a bit of fun. But yeah, Klein, did you get a chance to watch the Presents live? What did you think of the showcase overall, and what was your kind of like main takeaway from it?
I did get a chance to watch it live. It was not nearly as a nice location as you. I did it here in my living room at 6 a.m., having woken up at 5:30 and showered, ready to go, so that I could watch it. And these Pokemon Presents, they keep every year. I keep building up hope. There's a twinkle in my eye. It's like, this is going to be the one. And it never is. Even the big thing here, which I think Pokemon Showdown's really cool. It like takes me back to like Pokemon Coliseum on the GameCube and like Pokemon Stadium on the N64, where it is just battling. But the big thing here is obviously Pokemon Legends ZA, and I was honestly like I don't know what I was expecting. I just had hoped like, okay, maybe it'll look good. Maybe it won't like look like it's gonna run like just absolute garbage on my Nintendo Switch. And I looked at it and was like, okay, nope, not yet. We are still waiting for that. So I think it looked good. Um, I wasn't super impressed by it. I think that the whole Pokemon Day showcase, they continue to march to the beat of their own drum. And we got, hey guys, the Pokemon Cafe, it's got a new update. And oh, look, Pokemon Sleep, still a nightmare event happening right now. I will continue to wake up for these things. I wish it'd been better.
Yeah, I think like Pokemon Presents showcases in general are just kind of like, I was telling Lauren when we were watching it, it's 90% just garbage and then 10% of like something you actually want to see.
You forget how many things they have going on. How many of these games
Yeah.
that they announce and put out, and I'm like, yeah, this is gonna last like 6 months, and then 4 years later, here we are talking about Pokemon Masters EX. It's like, this is still happening. Like, the people
I
are still
know.
playing this game. It is the chokehold that the Pokemon franchise has on its fans. They can put out anything with the name Pokemon on it, and people buy it.
Yeah, it's I mean it's got me, that's for sure. So they know what they're doing over there. But yeah, I think the showcase itself, like I said, we were in a nice location, but it was like whatever. But I think the stuff that did get me excited, I think delivered for me. Just in terms of champions, I think it's an interesting idea. Like Pokemon Showdown, I remember playing back in the day. It's like, if you don't know what it is, it's kind of like this fan made website where it's just like basically a battle simulator. So you can just go on, just assemble a team, and then just fight people online. And there are different like things you can change with the game, and like different tiers that you can fight in depending on the Pokemon you pick. And I think the fact that it's taking this long for Pokemon to actually have an answer to that on their own, I feel like they've just been leaving money on the table. So this just makes sense, and like I think it looks like it could be a lot of fun. I think I'll try it out because I do like the battling, and having gone to the championships last week and seeing some of that on display, I think was exciting. Um, but yeah, I think the big thing is Legends ZA. But before we get a bit more into that, Lauren, what do you think of the showcase in general? And yeah, what do you take away from it?
I remember a lot about the sandwich I was eating at the time. Yeah, we were in quite a crowded place, so it wasn't like the ideal scenario to watch one of these, but we got
People
by.
weren't coming by going, "What are you watching?" You're like, "Oh, Pokemon! It's Pokemon Day. Pokemon Presents is on. I gotta
We had some
tune
loud
in."
reactions at certain parts though.
Yeah, we hopped off. We hopped off.
It's funny though, because like we were sort of talking like before the showcase started, and I was saying how I was like, oh, I hope with the next Pokemon Legends game they like give us Pokemon battles where you can like instead of just like trading back and forth like attacks, you can actually control your Pokemon in the battle arena. And look what happened.
Yep, you
We're
literally
not
get
quite
that.
there, but we're about halfway there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was pretty shocked to see that happen, and I think that's like a really cool thing for the new game. Depending on how it works, like to even just have a bit more of like movability in battle rounds. Yeah, this was like my highlight from the show was just another look at this game. I'm quite excited for it. I like that it's in this kind of futuristic kind of time. I like we got excited about the starters being Totodile.
Yep.
Chikorita.
And Tepig as well. Yeah.
Tepig,
I
yeah.
did Tom. I know that you've played the other Pokemon games. Did you find it weird that like the starters, 2 of them were from the same generation and then the other one wasn't?
That was a weird kind of decision, I feel like. Because, like, yeah, it is strange because with Arceus, they were all from different ones. And then, yeah, this one has 2 Gen 2s and 1 Gen 5. So it is kind of strange, but also, like, I guess now you have, like, Cyndaquil was in Legends Arceus. So now you have, like, all 3 of them are hopefully going to get the, like, special forms. But I don't know, it is weird, but I like the starter setup. Like, Totodile, he's my boy. I think both of us were like, I think we're gonna go with Totodile because he's just sick. He's just a sick.
I like
little beast.
Chikorita as well. Shout out.
Yeah, for sure.
You get them all eventually. Yeah, like the parkour stuff was cool too, just adding a bit more verticality to the game. I mean, obviously we have to see how it runs and things like that. But I'm feeling optimistic about it. I think it'll be really cool, and seems like an evolution of that formula.
I think that I don't know. I'm just not super convinced by Legends ZA yet. Do you think that they didn't say Switch 2, but they said later this year? I thought this might have been a first like half of the year thing. Do you guys think that this means that it is coming to Switch 2, or is it just going to be a Switch 1 game that you can also play on your Switch 2?
Yeah, I did think about that.
I didn't see anything in the trailer that made me think like, oh, this couldn't possibly run on the Nintendo Switch. Like I was looking at some of those balconies, and I'm like, those balcony textures look not awesome.
Yeah,
it's a Pokemon game.
I know. I want better. You know, I want to see be the change in the world I want to see.
I do know what you mean. I feel like the textures sometimes are a little muddy in the trailer, but I think in terms of like the actual performance, I remember when they showcased Legends Arceus, and mate, it looked rough.
It was chuggy in the
frame
trailer.
But I think like ZA, from what I could tell, it presented a lot better to me. I feel like the art style is slightly different as well. They've changed how the Pokemon are lit, and I think that looks really cool. So it probably. I think I'm on the side of it's probably going to be a Switch, like it's going to launch on the original Switch, but also they'll probably have a Switch 2 version ready to go just to like have that branding. Because yeah, the Pokemon Company's weird where they're like they still support the old hardware for a good amount of time. They're not like the first party Nintendo stuff where they're like, okay, the new generation's here, let's do something new. But yeah, it is kind of strange how they do that, but I am glad it's coming out this year at least. I did too. I like you. I thought it was going to be first half this year, but you know, this year at least I'll take it.
Still no specific date. I wonder why. I was just later this year because they're not like some of these other games right now that are sitting and waiting, saying what's Rockstar gonna do. Like where's GTA gonna land? Pokemon doesn't care. Pokemon can release any day. It doesn't matter. They're gonna sell a couple million units.
Exactly.
So I was fascinated that it wasn't, even if it was like a month, just like, hey, like October. I know they've planted their flag way out like this before, so I was surprised I didn't see that. I also want to just like call them out because the beginning of that Pokemon Showdown trailer, what's the first thing you see in that trailer? 2 kids sitting on the floor playing Pokemon Red and Blue on a Game Boy. And I stood up I was like, it's happening. We're getting it. Pokemon Red and Blue. It's coming to Nintendo Switch Online. And they kept going through the generations. And they showed the Nintendo Switch. And I was like, here we go. And then it was a mobile game that it will also be on Switch. And I was like, like, come on. You have to know. You have to know what people are going to think. But yeah, that's kind of all I got.
They trolled you a little bit with that. Because, yeah, I did, when we were watching it, I was like, oh, is it finally time for the Switch Online? But I guess not.
Where
Which
are
is...
those? What do you think's happening?
I don't know, because they've done it. Like, they've done it for the
Mhm.
3DS. Like, I feel like they could do it pretty easily. Like, maybe they just think they can make more money by remaking the games. But I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me either. Like, yeah, I don't know.
I think we'll see a Legends at a release date, probably around the time of the Switch 2 showcase. I think they
Ooh,
might be
1
saving
month.
it for that.
That's true, actually. Yeah, they might be saving some stuff for that. Maybe we'll get a new trailer. The one thing I did want to point out with Legends ZA is that we get like, it's very X and Y folk. Like, it is a sequel to X and Y, which I think is really exciting for me as a Pokemon fan. Like, AZ is in it, like the character. He's like this 3,000-year-old man. And for some reason he's still around and he's got his little floette. So I think it's cool. But the big thing is Mega Evolution, and I love Mega Evolution. I think it's one of the coolest gimmicks they've ever done. And we see a lot of the ones that we've had in the previous games, like Mega Ampharos, my other boy. I think it's really cool to see him. So I want to ask you guys: is there any Pokemon that you want to see Mega evolve, or like see a new form for? I'm sure we're gonna get Mega Evolutions for the 3 starters because they
Which,
seem to do that with.
as far as I know, they don't have them yet. Like, those are 3
No,
Pokemon that haven't ever been seen Mega Evolving, right?
yeah, they don't have any, so I feel like this is prime time for them to give them that. But I'm interested to see which ones they give them. The one I think is fun is Yan Mega, because he's like a big dragonfly, but I think a lot of people want him because that would make him Mega Yan Mega. So that I think would be really cool. Miss Magus is also one of my favorites, kind of the spooky ghost Pokemon. But kind of, is there any Pokemon you see on a cool form for?
I don't know which ones have been megaized before.
Yeah, sure.
So I don't know if I'll say one. Like, I'm a big Flygon fan. I would like to see that
That's one we
dragon
haven't
guy.
seen. Yeah.
Or isn't there a Pokemon from one of the newer generations that's like literally just a pile of trash?
Oh yeah, Garboda.
Yeah,
That
I
would
want
be
to see
fun.
I want to see the
pile
mega
of
trash.
Yeah, let's see that. That'd be a lot of fun. Lauren, is there any Pokemon that you'd want to see potentially?
I think mine's already in the game. It's Charizard.
Yeah.
Like a Mega Charizard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is with Charizard,
Mega Charizard gets all black and blue. He's cool.
yeah. But the thing is with Charizard is he has 2 Mega forms. He has Mega Charizard X, Mega Charizard Y.
Oh.
This game is Pokemon Legends ZA. What if we get a Mega Charizard Z?
That's cool.
But so I don't think. I think the fact that certain Pokemon have had Mega Evolutions doesn't like stop them from getting new ones, especially Charizard, because he's Charizard. People like him, so yeah, I could see that happening.
Okay, cool. Anything else from Pokemon? What would you rate this presents on a scale of 5?
Oh god,
I'm going 1.5. I'm just planting my flag right now.
The thing is, like,
that might be the lowest rating we've ever given on this podcast for anything. But
what would I have given? The thing is, what would I have given the Sonic presentation? Because like. That was funny to watch, but we literally got nothing. We got absolutely... At least with this, we got something. You know what I mean? I'd probably give this like a... If it's out of 5 stars, maybe like a 2.5 or a 3. Just because I think I did really like the Legends ZA trailer. And Pokemon Champions is exciting. So those bump it up a lot. But yeah, they got to figure this out. It's like so rough.
I'll give it 2. It gets some points for the sandwich I was eating while watching.
Tell me more about the sandwich. I saw photos of it. It looked like more cheese than there was sandwich, but...
Okay, so short London story time. But if you are in London, you go to Borough Market. The place to go is the
Black Pig.
The Black Pig.
Oh, they had the long line.
Yep.
Yes, and for good reason. The sandwiches are really good. Although someone took my sandwich, which was really sad.
Yeah.
They just came up, they decided that their name was Lauren and came up and took my sandwich before I could get to it.
It was awful.
Yeah, we had to ask for another one. So curses to that person. But when I got my sandwich, it was very good. It's like a pulled pork.
Yep.
With like mature Parmesan cheese and like this great truffle kind of aioli slaw sauce.
That would make the Pokemon Day presentation 10 times better.
Yeah. It made it
Great.
amazing.
We had a crowd of birds watching with us.
Yeah, it's a real life Pokemon watching the Pokemon Presents with us. It was cool.
Anyway, moving on.
Okay, the last news story of the week. Fable has been delayed. This comes from Tom Warren at The Verge. Microsoft has decided to delay the release window for its upcoming Fable game to 2026. The Xbox maker originally said last year that Fable would arrive at some point in 2025, but now Xbox Game Studio chief Craig Duncan has provided an update on the game during an appearance on the official Xbox podcast. He said, quote, "We previously announced the date for Fable as 2025. We are actually going to give Fable more time, and it's going to ship in 2026 now. While I know that's not maybe the news people want to hear, what I want to assure people of is that it is definitely worth the wait. I have unequivocal confidence in the Playground team." That's kind of it. They also talked about on the podcast, it was with him and former IGN editor-in-chief, who I guess works at Xbox now, Tina Amini. They were talking about how the move ultimately came down to they have a busy year already. They've got just Avowed just came out. They've got supposedly more games coming throughout the rest of the year. So that was a big reason for why they're moving. I think ultimately it'll probably end up landing around where Avowed landed this year, like pushing it from that November date, which is what they did for Avowed, and moving it to February. But I want to know what you guys think that Xbox is kind of like leaving the fall open a little bit. I don't know if you maybe have any ideas of what they could fill it with. Are they moving out of the way of something, perhaps something named Grand Theft Auto 6? I don't know. What do you think about the Fable getting delayed, Lauren?
Well, firstly, I just want to say I was with Tom when the news dropped, and he immediately went to Fantasy Critic and dropped the game from his lineup.
On site.
So fair enough.
Speaking of Fantasy Critic, we are tied right now, Lauren, you and I. Exactly the same amount of points. You had Avowed and I had Civ 7, and we both earned exactly the same thing. So it's tight.
Interesting start. Yeah, I'm actually really not surprised. I almost counterpicked Fable, to be honest, because I was like, it could come this year, but I just for some reason really felt like it wouldn't, because we just have seen so little of it still. Like, we've seen cinematics and things like that, and we've had some updates here or there, but we haven't seen gameplay. And until I see gameplay, I don't really believe that things are coming out, which goes for
I think
GTA
we've seen
6
a
as
little bit
well.
of gameplay, but I'm pretty sure there was like some like boss fight with a giant that I'm picturing from some showcase at some point. And then they also showed a little bit of gameplay during the podcast, like when they were talking about this.
Oh, okay.
We got like little glimpses, but not like a ton.
Yeah, I think it's mostly still cinematics. Anyway, whatever. I'm just not surprised that it's being pushed. I think it's it's an obvious move. They're clearing out the back half of the year because Grand Theft Auto 6 is supposedly coming, and God forbid anyone release against that. And like that's coming to Xbox as well, so why would they want to like cannibalize their own game with a game that's coming to their platform? Because we did talk about the developer showcase recently. They put release dates on, I think, all of those games, and they're all first half of this year. So we were talking about like we don't really know what they've got past that. Would it be Fable? Would it be
Gears of War?
Some other things. Yeah,
that's the one I'm thinking about, because like I think of the franchises now that we know that Xbox has, like the big ones, like I feel like E-Day could be the next one. Gears 5 came out in 2019, so there's
a trend where something like the game in the Gears franchise has always come out a year after its debut trailer.
Yeah, I mean, it came out last year. The trailer came out last year, last June. So, it would kind of line up. Maybe even like, if GTA 6 is that kind of like October, November. Gears 5 was like a September game, so maybe Gears gets ahead of that and releases E-Day then. I think it could be like a good bit of like counter programming, because they do like that vastly different in terms of genre. I do just feel like Xbox does need something. But I think maybe like a big RPG in Fable, even though like it is a fantasy thing, might veer too similarly to like a GTA, which is also very sprawling, open world, a lot of exploration. So maybe they are just trying to distance itself in terms of that. But yeah, it is interesting why they would do this.
I don't know if I believe this, but I'll just throw it to the table and see what you think. There's been some reports about the game that it may have been delayed as well to hit a PS5 release date, day and date.
I mean, maybe. I mean, didn't Phil said like he's not making any like hard calls on anything. Like he's
Mhm.
not saying no to
There's
everything.
no red tape anymore.
Yeah. So I could see it happening, honestly. Yeah, it would be kind of crazy if they do it because Fable, I feel like it's just been so synonymous with Xbox,
Yeah.
but yeah, it
Hey,
could happen.
for Forza Horizon 5, top of the PlayStation Store right now for pre-orders. So we're in a different
Yeah.
world now, Tom. I don't know if I even believe it. I do believe that a PS5 version of Fable is coming. I just don't know if this delay, if it was delayed because of that. I think that's might be kind of silly. I think the GTA theory is probably makes a bit more sense. Okay, anything else?
I think that's it.
No thoughts.
Fable. It'll come
We're
eventually,
Come
I
excited
on,
for
guess.
Tom.
it.
Yeah,
It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be British. You know, it's got that British sense
yeah.
of humor. It's got
It's
that guy from
yeah,
the IT
Richard,
crowd in it.
yeah, Moss, my boy. I've called a lot of people my boy this episode, but yeah, he's I love him. So yeah, I'll play a game with him in it. To be honest, so yeah, when it's ready, it's ready. You know,
Okay, that's it for the news we choose. Tom, Drew, give us that outro.
it's the news we choose. Yeah.
We now jump into what we've been playing over the last week. Lauren, did you get any gaming done on the plane? Were you playing the Switch, or was it just sleep time?
Listen, after the like race to the finish that was Okami last week, I decided that I would not be gaming this week. I didn't even pack the Switch. But that's more of a space concern. So yeah, skip right past me. I haven't played anything.
Tom, Drew, I don't know if it's weird, but I turned on notifications for both of you on my PlayStation app, and so now I see every time you guys come online. Tom, you've been playing games. So what have you been playing?
Wow, there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah, oh my god, I've been my every move's been watched. I have been playing, but it has been a lot of the same. It's Marvel Rivals, but they added new characters. I don't know if this was last week or the week before. And I can't remember if I've talked
It
about this
was
before, but yeah, they
Thursday, February. Like it wasn't this past Thursday, but the Thursday before that.
okay. Well, I don't know if I talked about this, but if I did, you'll hear about it again right now. They added the Human Torch and the Thing to Marvel Rivals, and they're really fun. The Fantastic Four, they've done such a good job with those heroes. Like, I feel like they're so distinct from other characters. You know, the Human Torch is obviously like an aerial kind of guy, so he's kind of similar to like someone like Storm. But I feel like he has a lot of things in his toolkit that set him really apart. Like, you can throw flames down and create like basically like triangles of flames around people to like kind of surround them with stuff and deal damage over time. The Thing he's just, I love him. It's clobbering time all the time over here. He's just got a skin where he's like in the trench coat and like fedora that he like wears when he's like in disguise, I guess. So they've just put so much attention to detail into that game, and it always just makes me like so happy. I think I was playing it late one night, and I think Lauren might have heard me like raging a little bit because it gets a little bit toxic
Tom
here.
yells at the kids.
I mean, look, we have to win.
Are you
I'm
yelling
doing it
at
for their own
people
good.
on your team, or are you yelling at the people on the other side of the team? Like, do the people you're talking to, can they hear what you're telling them?
No, the people I'm talking to are the four walls of my bedroom because I'm too scared to put voice chat on. I'm just kind of raging to myself to try to make myself feel a little bit better. But you know, I feel like that's just the process of being a gamer. I guess that's not a good defense. I should be better, but no, Marvel Rivals still really good. I'm hoping to start some new games this week. Hopefully, it's just been a bit hectic, but yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, I've been playing a few different things as well. I am back on the Street Fighter train. I've been playing Tekken on and off for almost a year now, and I'm really liking it, but always afraid to go online with it. I don't know what it was. Like, it's a very intimidating game. And I'm
Yeah.
not very good at it. Where Street Fighter, I do think, is a little bit more approachable. And so I re-downloaded it this week. I may be thinking about going to Vancouver in a couple of weeks to a big fighting game tournament. Uh,
That's
I don't know.
exciting.
Yeah, I don't know yet. One of the like Smash Brothers majors every year is in Vancouver, and I've never been, and I would like to go. But they also have Tekken, they also have Street Fighter. So I was like, and it's cheaper if you sign up as a competitor. So just
Oh,
There you
okay.
go.
So
sign
still
up
training.
and then probably get destroyed by somebody and hang out for the rest of the weekend. I'm debating. I don't know yet, but the game is just like, it's so much fun. I'm playing a lot of Ken. I'm thinking about, because I have been playing it a lot this week and I haven't been playing Metaphor, which I need to get back on. I'm thinking about buying some of the characters, Tom. I have
Oh yeah.
all of the year one characters, but like, I'm someone on the internet. I see the my hype, okay? People they really like that character, and I
They
would
do.
maybe like to try and see if I'd be any good with her. She looks like she has got some fun moves and stuff. So want to give that a try. And then, guys, we're days away when we're recording right now. That March 4th date is coming. And so I was like, you want to know what I got to do? I got to re-download Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2. And I had to re-download it and was just grinding my way, manualing my way through all those levels. Like, I can't wait. I'm so excited. I hope we get an announcement, I guess in like 2 or 3 days, which is just crazy. There's rumors that it's a shadow drop. And if that's the case, Metaphor Refantasio may be a casualty to that. But yeah, just been playing a lot of things. The only other thing that I've been playing is I jumped back into Call of Duty this week after a while away, and they added the Ninja Turtles to the game, like as skins.
Oh,
And
I've heard
so
about
like,
this. Yeah.
yeah, so like I'm running around. I've got a Squid Game skin on because like I don't know, I've never seen the show, but I got it. And so I'm running around in my tracksuit getting like destroyed by kids who are dressed as Donatello and like Master Splinter and stuff. And I'm like, what is this game? What is, like, Nicki Minaj was a skin in it at one point as well.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is a wild world that we live in. So I would like to maybe get one of the Ninja Turtles, but I was reading, and to get all 4 of them, it's $90.
I know it's so expensive. Like, I think it's way cheaper in like something like Fortnite. You can get them for, I don't know. I want to say like $30 or something like that for all 4, which is still a lot of
Even
money.
that, it's just a
But 90
skin.
is absurd. Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know.
But yeah, you mentioned Tony Hawk. I think Lauren has something to show you.
Yeah, before we move on, Tom took me to this cool electronics store the other day where they have a lot of, it's kind of like retro games and things like that. And we did find, we can put this in as a graphic later, but I'm going to show you a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 on Game Boy Advance.
Oh, cool.
So cool. £6. What a bargain.
Yeah, we also found. Yeah, well, you can show
You
me.
didn't buy it?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Oh no,
We didn't buy
we
it.
could have bought it, but we didn't.
Does anybody own a Game Boy
Yeah.
anymore?
Well, if you want it, I can go back, Klein, if you really want it.
And then I said there was a PlayStation 2 section, and I said, if there's a Sly Raccoon here, I'm buying it. There was, but I didn't buy it because it was £35.
Oh,
It's crazy.
I could buy
that's
that.
like the price of a new game.
I
Buy that
know.
for like a quarter of the price on the PlayStation Store, and it'll actually run on my PlayStation. But yeah, pretty cool.
Okay, that's what we've been playing this week. Do we have a comment corner? Do
We have
we,
a
Tom?
short
Okay.
one. Yeah, we
This
do.
is the part of the show where we shout out any comments we get on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. So if you have anything to say, let us know over on the YouTube video, social media, anywhere.
Yeah, so we released kind of a brief segment from the previous episode where we were just talking about our predictions for the Pokemon Presents showcase. So some people chimed in the comments, basically giving their predictions. Obviously, we know what happened, but I just wanted to shout them out here. At @cherry_Landrax says, Mega Florges, that's it, that's all I need. So Florges is like this flowery type Pokemon, so like they obviously wanted a mega version of that. I think that'd be pretty cool. And at Kataku8609 says, all I want is a new evolution. So my question for you guys, if they came up with a new evolution for Eevee, what type would you want it to be? So they've done
What have we
fire,
gotten?
water.
Okay.
Yeah, fire, water, electric, dark, psychic, grass, ice, and fairy.
That leaves like nothing.
There's like there's like 17 types in the game, so there's a couple. I'll go first. I'll say steel. I think a
Yeah.
steel type evolution would be cool, kind of like a robotic
Which
type
one's your
thing.
favorite, Tom?
Umbreon, the dark
Yeah,
one.
same. I love
I think
Umbreon.
Umbreon's
Yeah.
so
I think
cool.
that's my
Yeah,
favorite Pokemon. Full stop. Is
really.
Umbreon. Yeah.
Yeah, Umbreon's so cool. Yeah.
So what are the others?
So we've got fighting. There's dragon.
I
There's
want
like
a
Oh, a Dragon
ghost.
Eevee.
the dragon would be cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dragon would be
Dragon
cool.
Eevee. Yeah.
Yeah,
I want a
yeah.
ghost one, and I want it to be like a dead Eevee.
Oh, yeah, that'd be
Wow.
sick.
Like an
Yeah,
undead Eevee with like parts of it missing, and
yeah, like fading in and out.
yeah.
I would love that. Yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, those are the comments. Thank you very much. Keep them coming. We love them. We love to read them out.
Yeah, this week, you know what? On this video, if you're watching it or if you're listening, go over to the YouTube video and let us know what evolution type you want to see show up in a Pokemon game, because there's only a few left, but I think we will eventually see more. That's basically going to do it for the show this week. You can follow the show over on social media. We are at Controller Club Pod on Instagram and Blue Sky, at Controller_Club on Twitter, and at Controller.Club on TikTok. Do we want to mention our New Game Plus video game book club games of the month here?
Yeah, I think so.
Now's the
Okay,
time.
so for January, February, we played Okami. If you haven't listened to our book club review of Okami, you can go back. That was last week's episode. But for March, we're doing something a little bit different. I think this was Lauren's idea. Lauren, basically explain what we're going to be doing here in March.
Yes, I have the ideas. So in our final Game of the Year awards wrap up last year, we had a new category, which was I guess it was like the Hindsight Award, the game that came out last year that we wish we played but didn't. And then when we did our picks, we made a vow that we would play these games like before the end of the next year, before the end of 2025. And so we're going to do that for our New Game Plus this month. We're all going to play the games that we said that we had nominated in that category. So, for each of us, that means we'll all be playing a different game. Some of us will have played each other's games, some of us will not. I am going to be playing Balatro, because that is the game that I regretted not playing last year, and I look forward to playing it because you two both rave about it, along with everybody else who's played it.
Tom, what are you
And I'll
going to
be
be playing?
Yeah, I'll be playing Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which Klein has talked about numerous times on the podcast, and I just have it. I never got around to it, so I will be playing it and hopefully really enjoying it.
And I'll be playing Metaphor Refantasio, which is going to be an absolute, not a grind, but an effort. I'm promising right now, I don't think I'm going to finish it by the time that we get to our conversations, but I will. I am 26 hours in right now. So
Okay,
I've made some good progress.
respectable.
I will be a sizable chunk of the way through this game when we do the conversation. So, yeah, we're going to be doing our 2024 hindsight games: Balatro for Lauren, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown for Tom, and Metaphor Refantasio for me. You can chime in on social media. Let us know what you think about those games. Join the conversation. It really helps out. Also, if you're listening to the podcast, we've mentioned it a few times. We are on YouTube. You can watch the show now over on our YouTube channel, as well as check out the best of segments that Tom puts together and YouTube shorts when they go up as well. Please rate, review us wherever you're listening. It helps out. Leave us a thumbs up on YouTube, comment, hit the bell. I think that's everything. And on Spotify as well, you can leave us a comment and review the show. Tom, where can people keep up with you? And do you have anything exciting coming up?
Yeah, you can find me at Tom Duart, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, basically everywhere. I haven't really been posting anything in the past couple of weeks on social media, to be honest, guys. So yeah, the answer is no. I don't really have anything going on. So, but if when updates come out on things I'm getting up to, you'll find those at Tom Duart.
I was going to say there's no better time to follow than now, because people will see when you do finally come out of your social media hibernation. It will be a big moment. They'll be ready and have you in the feed all ready to go. Lauren, where can people keep up with you, and what do you have happening in your life?
You can follow me at lrouse19 on Blue Sky, Twitter, TikTok. I also haven't posted much recently, but Klein and I have exclusives coming out of Fan Expo from last weekend, which we discussed in our episode last week, if you want a recap of that. But we also have some articles on the Direct going up about that, which is really exciting. And once I am over my jet lag and over this sickness, I will post some things about our adventures in London from this week, probably on Controller Club's account and also my personal one. So stay tuned to see what we've been up to.
Excellent. And you can keep up with me everywhere. I'm at the Kleinfeld, TheKleinFelt, Blue Sky, Instagram. I'm also letterboxed. I'm always over there posting everything I'm watching, so come follow me over there as well. That's going to do it for this episode of Controller Club. Thank you so much for listening. Now, let's get gaming.